My husband is obsessed with gaming, spending 12 hours a day at his computer playing CS::GO with his childhood friend. Wanting to get his attention, I deliberately pulled down my clothes a little, found a suggestive angle, took a picture, and sent it to him. But he read it but didn't reply. Instead, he immediately sent my photo to the family group chat with the caption, "Seriously? Who needs women when you have games? Haha, thanks for asking." My eyes welled up. Just as I was about to push the door open and confront him, I heard David Miller and his childhood friend giggling inside. "David, Olivia's photo is so bold. Unlike me, I'm too innocent." No wonder Daniel Smith chose to marry Olivia. Was he tempted by her appearance? But, just between us, Daniel, you really should keep a tighter leash on Olivia. Who knows if she sends pictures like that to other men? Hee, I'm just kidding, Daniel. You're not mad, are you? David Miller smirked, his hands still controlling the game. Nah, she loves me, and she's married to me now. There's no turning back. If she makes a big fuss, she won't gain anything. I'm not mad. You're still young. How about we don't stay up late tonight? You should get some sleep soon, okay? Want me to sing you a lullaby later? His childhood friend giggled softly and agreed, okay. David, you're the best. Promise me you'll only ever comfort me, okay? David Miller paused for a moment, then finally agreed. Okay. Anyway, she doesn't need me to comfort her. Besides, she's been too clingy lately. I need to give her some space. My hand, poised to open the door, slowly dropped. I sank to the ground, tears streaming down my face. If I had known marrying beneath my station would turn out like this, I would have listened to Daniel. I called Daniel and explained the situation. He suppressed his anger, his voice devoid of emotion reaching my ears. Liv, it's okay. Daniel will bring you home. I'll immediately send someone to investigate David Mill. RZ Sports Team. David, sending Olivia's photo to the family group chat, won't that look bad? There are over a dozen people in there, most of them are older relatives. There are a lot of uncles too, it's really not good for them to see that. Olivia is a teacher, too. Isn't showing that much skin totally embarrassing for you? David Miller waved his head dismissively, his voice indifferent. Embarrassing? She's the one with no shame. And I had a handle on it, it wasn't that revealing, just showed a little. Besides, I warned her ages ago not to bother me when I'm gaming, especially not to spam me with messages. But she just wouldn't listen. I was just giving her a little punishment. With that, he didn't start another game. Instead, he opened the family group chat. As expected, the group was blowing up, messages flooding in, 99 plus. What's this? Sent to the wrong place? No way, you two lovebirds' little moments, why send them to the group? Ms. Smith, I thought you teachers were all careful about your image. Why are you taking photos like that? Teaching and shaping young minds at school, but this is what you're like behind their backs? Do the students' parents know? Come out and explain yourselves. At David Miller at Olivia Smith. I heard him click his tongue, his voice trailing upwards, clearly conflicted inside, but in a surprisingly good mood. In an instant, I felt completely numb. I knew he did it on purpose. Messages in the family group chat were still scrolling. I gripped my phone, staring fixedly at the screen, my blood pressure soaring. I dug my nails into my palm until tiny drops of red appeared, and only then did I slowly come back to my senses. David Miller was a senior student I met in college. Although he had a cold exterior, he had once taken me to the university infirmary when I fainted from a stomach ache. I thought he cared about me, that he was just cold exterior, warm interior. So, I pursued him for 3 whole years, and he finally agreed. When I graduated. Later, he proposed marriage. He said the custom in his hometown couldn't accept long distance and demanded I move to his small town in Harmony Creek. I had a huge fight with Daniel over this. Daniel said David Miller and I were from different backgrounds/social classes and that I was jumping into the fire. But I was blinded by love, completely irrational, and couldn't listen to anything. In the end, Daniel couldn't talk me out of it. When I left home, he told me I'd see clearly eventually and that he'd be waiting for that day. When I first married, David Miller was very good to me. He was just starting his business then and was busy every day, but he would still get up early to make me breakfast and bring home delicious food in the evenings. However, his personality was always quite distant. He always seemed to shy away from my affection. I thought time would melt him, but I never expected him to be so gentle in front of his childhood friend. Hearing him willingly offer to sing her a lullaby to get her to sleep, I felt my heart twist. These past few days, I hadn't had much appetite and ate very little. That's why I was particularly clingy. I just wanted David Miller to spend time with me, even if it was just a few comforting words. But he couldn't even do that. He wouldn't reply to my messages and now even resented me for being clingy. I didn't know much about his childhood friend. The only thing he ever said about Ashley Green was, "She's a fragile little sister, very innocent, she needs to be coddled." I wanted to ask more then, but he shut me down with one sentence. "She's just like a sister. What are you suspecting? I'm married to you, are you really going to push this?" So, I could only swallow my questions. Later, I saw a photo of Ashley on David Miller's social media. That time, David Miller booked an entire hotel to celebrate his little childhood friend's birthday. The girl in the picture wore a white dress, small and cute looking. The C. App Dion read, "Princess Ash Forever 18, I will always protect you." I tried not to let it bother me, reminding myself that David Miller's childhood friend was also my friend. So, after half a year, I specifically asked Daniel for help for the first time, and he helped me reserve an agate necklace. The moment I got it, I asked David Miller to give it to Ashley for me as a belated birthday wish. But that evening, David Miller brought the agate necklace back exactly as it was. He said Ash not only wouldn't accept my gift but also felt I wasn't sincere because I didn't personally deliver it to her. He even mocked me, saying she wasn't lacking such things and that I should treat her with respect, not try to buy her off. But I didn't go myself because David Miller told me Ashley had severe social anxiety and was scared of strangers. As for sincerity, that was absurd. This agate necklace was limited edition, with only 150 released worldwide. It required reserving it 6 months in advance, and Daniel paid 10 times the price to get it, worth $1 million. Although I was very upset, I held back. David Miller seemed to sense my displeasure and immediately contacted Ashley, asking her to thank me on the phone. Ashley initially refused outright and even swore at me over the phone. Later, seeing David Miller's firm tone, she finally gave in, whispering thank you with a hint of grievance. Afterward, she blocked David Miller's number and stopped replying to his messages for a full 2 weeks. David Miller didn't react much at first, even stroking my head and saying Ash was being childish, and he apologized on her behalf. But now he sent my risque photo to the family group chat and even sent it to Ashley separately. Wasn't he trying to make up for her feeling wronged back then? Just a few days ago, David Miller even cooked homemade lasagna, my favorite, and coaxed me, "Baby, you're the woman I love most in this life. Ash is just my childhood friend, you are my family." But wow. D family humiliate me like this? Would family send my photo to the family group chat to leave me utterly humiliated / publicly shamed? How much of the love you speak of is real? How much is fake? What were you thinking when you married me? I thought about how shortly after I got married, David Miller's business venture had been smooth sailing. A big boss who invested in him once said at a dinner, "Mr. Miller, you married an heiress / daughter of a wealthy family. You're truly blessed." My body trembled uncontrollably, and I lost all strength. I went back to the bedroom, feeling like I finally understood the real reason he was with me, but it shattered my beautiful fantasy of love. Intense anger enveloped me. I opened my phone and found Daniel's contact page. Since moving here, I rarely contacted Daniel voluntarily, and I had brushed off his concern. Daniel was usually busy, either in meetings or traveling for business. I didn't know if he could take my call now. But just as I hesitated and was about to hang up, Daniel's voice came through the phone. His gentle voice gradually calmed my racing heart. I wiped away my tears, my voice firm. "This is what happened. Daniel, I miss home so much. I miss you and Dad and Mom. For David Miller, I left the home where I was born and came to this remote town, a stranger in a strange land, alone and helpless. To protect his pride, I didn't even dare contact my family in front of him, let alone confide my grievances. I thought that one day, David Miller would truly love me, and he would be willing to go home with me. I once thought that having his love alone was enough to make me the happiest person in the world. But it was all just a fantasy I was lost in. He didn't love me, he didn't even care about me. My dignity was trampled, my love was scorned, and my self-worth was dragged through the dirt. I was blind, but thankfully, I still had a home. I lay in bed, the air thick with lifeless silence, just like my heart. The bed sheet were new ones I had put on. David Miller hadn't shared a room with me for a long time, and I thought changing the sheets might change the atmosphere, maybe pull him away from his games. Now I knew he wasn't obsessed with games, he was obsessed with Ashley Green, the one he played games with. I started feeling depressed again, but I was too drained to even cry out loud. A knock sounded, then David Miller pulled the door open. Already asleep? I wanted to confront him, but I opened my mouth and couldn't say a word. No. Relatives are coming over tomorrow. Just letting you know, you should get ready. Before I could react, he closed the door and left. Not long after he closed the door, he came back, looking at my slumped figure, his tone softening slightly. The family group chat, it was a slip of the hand, but I had a handle on it. That photo wasn't a big deal, compared to. Anyway, just play along with the relatives tomorrow. Just don't talk back. I didn't answer him, so he walked over and slowly folded my covers for me. Just be obedient. They're older relatives, we younger ones should show some respect. Strange, why was the blanket so thick, yet my body wouldn't stop trembling? I grabbed his arm, my voice questioning. Slip of the hand? Was it really a slip of the hand? I recalled the things the relatives said in the group. Teaching and shaping young minds at school, but this is what you're like behind their backs? Do the students' parents know? My dignity, my reputation, everything. Can you just cover it up with a slip of the hand? I also thought about how the family group chat was blowing up with ads directed at him and me. Yet, he could nonchalantly agree to sing Ashley to sleep, sing her a lullaby, only comfort her. David Miller was silent for a long time, then left without a word of explanation. The next day, just as dawn broke, I was still trapped in a nightmare. I was woken up by the noisy shouting. I didn't want to face them, but David Miller pulled me out of bed, dressed me, and led me out of the bedroom with his arm around me. I kept my head down, saying nothing, but he gently kissed my forehead. He looked into my vacant eyes and said every word, every single word, sincerely, like an angel. It's okay, honey, it was just an accident. You believe me, right? The moment I walked into the living room, all the relatives' eyes were fixed directly on me. Disgusted, scornful, leering, scrutinizing. I could hear their hushed whispers, constant and unending, reaching my ears. Still a teacher? And she's like this? She has a great figure though. David Miller is lucky. Wonder if I can give it a try after they divorce? I don't mind. I stood rooted to the spot, my head bowed low. A wave of nausea rose in my throat, but I forced it back. When I reached the sofa/couch, David Miller released my hand and sat down himself. I watched my own husband give up his seat for another woman. How considerate. He stood beside me, looking down at me from above, his expression cold, a look I couldn't understand. The moment our eyes met, he managed a small smile, just like when we were first married. Because of him, I had become the sinner, here to be judged. Suddenly, a pink phone was thrust in front of me. Ashley's voice was soft and sweet, so much so it made even me, a woman, shiver all over. Olivia! Yesterday David showed me your photo, it's really nice, but Olivia, you're a teacher, shouldn't you be careful about your influence? See, David accidentally sent the photo to the family group chat, and now everyone's come over just because of you, it's really such a hassle. How about this, Olivia, you apologize and say you know you were wrong, and everyone will forgive you. Oh, honestly, Olivia, this photo of yours. She swiped on the phone screen a few times, her sharp fingernail almost poking my eye. It's really so sexy. No wonder David just had to marry you. If I were a guy, I definitely couldn't resist that temptati. On. Olivia, can you teach me how to take pictures like this? The angle is really amazing. You didn't send this to other men, did you? She paused, deliberately glancing at David Miller's expression. Bah, I'm just talking nonsense. Olivia, you would never send photos randomly. Right, hurry up and apologize to everyone. It's rare for everyone to gather like this. Is it okay if I crash for dinner? Her adorable performance earned her the affection of all the relatives present. They looked at her with smiling, satisfied faces. David Miller also chuckled, his voice low and full of indulgence. Ash, you're not feeling well. Don't eat too much greasy food. I'll make you something light later. Ashley pouted at David Miller but still compromised. Fine, you're such a manager. Always telling me what to do, humph. Well, whatever I can't eat, I guess Olivia will have to finish. The next second, the relatives looked back at me, all waiting for my apology. I bit my lip, my mouth tasting bitter and sour. I was about to say I wouldn't eat her leftovers, but David Miller decided for me. Just apologize. Ash has a small appetite, you eat more. Consider it my compensation to you. I couldn't believe it. I wasn't the one who was wrong, yet I had to apologize. His childhood friend couldn't finish her food, and it was taken for granted that I would eat her leftovers. Whose husband was he anyway? I finally realized who David Miller truly cared about. He married me simply because I was naive, easy to deceive, and my family was wealthy enough to support him. He didn't refuse, nor was he proactive. He just seemed distant. Wasn't he just stringing me along? Because he didn't care, he never got angry with me. Swallowing the bitterness in my heart, I stood up. If I apologize, will this be over? I'm tired. I want to go back to my room and lie down. David Miller looked at me deeply, then slowly nodded. I opened my mouth to speak 2 words, but it took me a full minute to force them out. Turning, I returned to the bedroom. The moment I lay down, I heard Ashley's cheer from the living room. My departure seemed to have lit a fuse, igniting their lively atmosphere. The next day, I dragged my exhausted body to school. But the eyes of the students, colleagues, and parents around me felt like knives stabbing into me. Instinctively, I opened my phone and saw a female teacher I was close to had forwarded a chat history to me. The history contained my photo and all the relatives' comments about me in the family group chat. Who forwarded this? I sent a message in the group. I had already apologized. Why were they still doing this? Did they have to completely destroy me to be satisfied? Uncle Charles suddenly sent a long paragraph in the group, and the other relatives started copying and pasting it. You did something like this, and you're afraid of it being forwarded? We are your elders, and yesterday you apologized unwillingly. Now you're making a fuss in the group, slandering your elders. Do you want us to come to your house again and teach you a lesson? David Miller, can you control your wife? Women, if you don't hit them for a day, they'll cause trouble. As a teacher, you should be focused on studying and contributing to society, not taking revealing photos and sending them everywhere. Who knows who else you sent these photos to? You deserve this. Got it? You should be grateful David Miller isn't divorcing you, you bitch. The last 2 words made my eyes widen in disbelief. Ms. Smith? How do you still have the nerve to come to class? Not teaching literature anymore, switching to biology? The voices of colleagues, students, and parents intertwined endlessly. I covered my ears and crouched on the spot. With trembling hands, I took out my phone. I wanted David Miller to pick me up and take me home. David Miller, are you home? Can you come pick me up from school? Please. Don't make me face this alone. But I heard Ashley's giggling. G on the call, and David Miller's gentle voice comforting her. Before the call was cut off, I heard David Miller's flat tone. Not home. I'm with Ash. You need a lesson to learn. Got it? I stumbled back to the house David Miller and I shared, my heart feeling dead, sinking into the shadows. I don't know how long passed before it felt like I finally came to a realization. I looked up at the sky. Memories of the past kept flashing in my mind. The scene of being forced to apologize yesterday repeated, my thoughts a tangled mess. I opened my phone, and a colleague had sent me another video. It was a video of me yesterday, pale-faced, apologizing, recorded by one of the relatives. News travels fast in Harmony Creek. No wonder, the moment I arrived at school, it felt like I was a death row inmate. The cold faces of the relatives, my helpless voice. But the comments below were full of constant insults against me. Are the standards for teachers this low now? What's the use of apologizing? If apologizing works, then if I drink and drive and apologize to the police, I won't get points deducted? Looks like she's desperate for men. $50 a night, and you pay me? How about it? I stared fixedly, scrolling down the comments. I wanted to cry, but my throat felt dry and sore, even opening my mouth was painful. I sent a message to Daniel. Daniel, I want to go home. Can you book me a plane ticket? I was tired, completely disillusioned. Daniel quickly sent me the plane ticket information for the soonest flight. Booked. I miss you, I'll pick you up at the airport later. I didn't pack any luggage, just grabbed a small bag and took a taxi to the airport. Before boarding, my phone vibrated loudly. I looked down at the caller ID, immediately silenced my phone, and held the power button to turn it off. On the plane, I closed my eyes, feeling a rare sense of calm. I hadn't had such a peaceful day in a long time. Because my phone was off, I didn't know that back at the house, Vid Miller stood with a grave expression, beside a trembling Uncle Charles. Uncle Charles had lost his arrogance from yesterday, his voice low and weak. David, something's happened. I was just kidding around, just recorded a video and sent it, who knew it would go viral? I just wanted to teach her a small lesson, I didn't expect it to blow up like this. Your wife, she seems angry, she left home. Upon landing, I rushed to the arrival gate/pickup area immediately. Daniel Smith, wearing a sharp suit, was already waiting for me, his assistant beside him. I walked over and immediately threw myself into his arms. Daniel, boo-hoo. He hugged me back, his grip gentle, as if I were a fragile doll. It's okay. You're back, that's all that matters. You're home now. Daniel told me he had already taken down the online comments and the video. And Uncle Charles's account had been warned, he wouldn't dare spread my photos and videos anymore. In just a few hours, he had made significant moves. The comments immediately reversed, I was the victim all along. Soon, the people who had previously insulted me started flooding the comments with apologies, but I wouldn't forgive them. And David Miller, he couldn't maintain his composed facade anymore. He called me frantically, from the number you dialed is currently unavailable to the number you dialed is not in service. Oh, I forgot to mention, Daniel had just gotten me a new phone number. The old number was gone now, just like my old life, a fresh start. Liv, regarding David Miller, do you want him to pay the price? I lowered my head, and after a long time, finally spoke. His company isn't clean, and he illegally shared my private information. Let's go through the proper legal channels and sue him. Back home, I slept soundly in my large bed. In my dream, I saw my male childhood friend from years ago. He had gone abroad to study in high school. On the day he left, he handed me a book and said gently, Liv, I'm leaving. This book contains what I want to say to you. I hope you'll be waiting for me when I return. What was the name of that book? I thought for a long time and finally remembered. It was Let's Take a Walk on Saturday Night. Where did I put that book? I got out of bed and searched through the boxes piled in the corner of the room for a long time. Finally, I found it. I opened it and realized it was a poetry collection/book of poetry. I flipped through the pages for a long time until I reached the end. There was a poem titled Moonlight on my left hand, and every line deeply touched me. I thought again about Ethan White's slow footsteps when he left. Was he reluctant to leave me? The next day, I asked Daniel about Ethan White. Daniel's expression immediately became strange, a mix of happiness and awkwardness. Daniel told me Ethan White would be returning next week and asked if I wanted to go meet him at the airport. I agreed, not because I had suddenly fallen in love with a childhood friend whose face I barely remembered, but just because I wanted to interact with more people. These past few days, my emotions had been stable, but I still felt a slight subconscious aversion to David Miller's name. This marriage of mine was a complete failure, an undeniable black mark on my life. Time passed quickly. I went to the airport with Daniel and, after many years, finally saw Ethan White again. He looked tall, with fair skin, and his face beamed with a genuine smile. From the moment he saw me, his smile didn't fade. He lived right next door to me and brought me different desserts/treats every day. After staying home for a few days, Daniel had to go to the office and entrusted me to Ethan White's care. Every morning when I woke up and opened my door, I would see him sitting on the sofa/couch, his face refined, his back straight as a pine tree. He studied law abroad and later took a cooking class. Since being fed by him, I couldn't eat the food our housekeeper made anymore. It wasn't the tea her cooking wasn't good, it was that his was just that delicious. The more time passed, the deeper our relationship grew. Liv, what are you thinking about? Want me to make you milk crepe cake today? His clear voice came from beside me. Ethan White was very close, looking at me with focused eyes. I felt my heart pound so fast, and I quickly looked away, not daring to meet his gaze. Lately, eating well and living well, I felt I had clearly gained weight, but he said I hadn't and that I had looked too thin before. The next time I heard about David Miller was much later. I was watching Ethan White steam cupcakes/mini cakes for me when Daniel walked in quickly. Liv! His voice was cheerful, as if he had wonderful news. Seeing me, Daniel's mouth widened into a grin. Seeing Ethan White, his expression froze for a moment, but after a pause, he didn't ask him to leave. Let me tell you, David Miller is in big trouble. You know I had someone investigate his sports team? Turns out, that kid is seriously bold. He pulled all the company funds to invest in cryptocurrency, and he lost everything/went bankrupt. Now he's running around like a chicken with its head cut off, begging everyone for help/calling in every favor to borrow money, but no one's helping him. Hearing this, my heart was unusually calm. Every word David Miller said used to tug at my heartstrings, but now that he was so miserable, I didn't feel soft-hearted, nor did I feel triumphant. Perhaps this was the indifference that came after not caring anymore. That night, I sat on my bed. My phone vibrated. It was a familiar number. Wife! David Miller had somehow gotten my new phone number and was calling me. Seeing I wasn't answering, his tone shifted from cheerful to low, like a stray dog. I'm sorry, I know I was wrong. I've completely come to my senses now, wife. I'm in trouble, can you help? He started with an apology, but I didn't need it now. As for asking for my help, he was talking to the wrong person. No. Also, please sign the divorce papers I sent you as soon as possible. He hadn't expected my attitude to be so cold. What's wrong, wife? Baby, Liv, it's me, it's David Miller. Are you still mad about that? I really just slipped my hand that day, but I really didn't expect Uncle Charles to post it online. Can you forgive me just this once? I can explain everything. I still didn't say anything. Ashley Green on the other end finally couldn't hold back. Her sweet voice shrieked loudly, insulting me viciously. Olivia Smith, are you mute? Didn't you hear David apologize to you? That's enough, don't push your luck. What makes you think David likes you besides your family's money? Don't act like a princess. Hearing this, I finally couldn't help but let out a soft laugh. When David Miller heard me laugh, he immediately scolded Ashley. Stop talking. I love Liv. Ashley instantly quieted down, her eyes dark. David Miller started talking to me again, his tone gentle. Liv, can we talk properly? I didn't hesitate. No. Our feelings are long gone. Besides, delayed sincerity is worse than weeds. You don't need to act like you're so devoted now. I don't want to see it, it makes me sick. My tone was heavy. After saying that, I hung up immediately. David Miller seemed hurt by my words and didn't call back. The next day, Ethan White looked at me wolfing down my food, his expression hesitant. I glanced at him. What? Is something wrong with me eating a lot? Ethan White shook his head. He organized his thoughts, controlling his rising tone. No, it's just that David Miller was arrested yesterday. Apparently, for intentional injury. My eyes widened. I finally managed to swallow my food. Wow, really? Who was the victim? Uncle Charles? Or Ash? It must have been Uncle Charles, since Ash is a woman after all. Ethan White's expression was solemn. He suddenly spoke in a serious tone. It was Ash. They say she was close to death when they called the police. That scumbag. The thought of you being around him for so long, what if he went crazy and did something to you? I would truly break down. I never expected David Miller to lay hands on a woman, but this matter didn't really matter in my life. I forgot about it quickly. I booked a plane ticket, planning to travel abroad for a few days, and I didn't expect Ethan White to insist on coming with me, saying he could be my bodyguard. I reluctantly agreed, mainly because Daniel was worried about me traveling alone. The next time I received a call from David Miller, I had almost forgotten about him. Olivia Smith, how can you be so heartless? Have you fallen for someone else? His tone was mournful, as if I were the one who had wronged him. I almost laughed. Seriously? Are you kidding me? Have you forgotten what you did to me? I didn't sue you because I was lazy, don't you understand? His voice was frantic, nothing like his usual self. I haven't forgotten, but you forced me to do it. I knew what I was doing, that photo wasn't revealing at all. I was even speaking up for you in front of the relatives. Speaking up for me? Forcing me to apologize was helping me? I was impatient to listen further. So, should I bow low and hit my forehead on the ground for you? Thank you for your great kindness. That period, the meeting, was like a dark nightmare etched into my heart. I had been suppressing the urge to think about it, the risque photos sent to the family group chat, being forced to apologize to relatives, being recorded and having the video posted online, losing my job, being pointed at, insulted, and scorned by everyone. And now he says he helped me? What a joke. Stop trying to make yourself look good, okay? Wrong is wrong. You still won't admit it? How about I send your risque photo to the family group chat, post it online, make you apologize to my relatives? Make you go bankrupt and be insulted. How does that sound? David Miller was silent for a long time, unable to speak. No, I was wrong. I just miss you so much, Liv. I can't live without you. We're not divorced yet, I haven't signed. Come back. Can we meet? Do you really have no feelings for me at all? I scoffed. Didn't you say you weren't signing? Feelings? Look in the mirror. Do you think you deserve any? Everything started with that photo he sent to the family group chat. A slip of the hand? Wasn't he ashamed of himself? He clearly knew his words were all excuses. His voice lowered. I'm sorry. I'll bow low and hit my forehead on the ground. Okay, I admit I was wrong. I really know I messed up. Thump, 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 can you forgive me? I saw the text message he sent. His forehead was indeed bleeding. But so what? He deserved it. Forgive? If you don't sign within 3 days, you'll be finished. After saying that, I hung up. This time, I blocked him. 3 days later, he still hadn't signed. It seemed like I had to get serious. David Miller was released from jail not long after being arrested. It looked like the victim, Ashley Green, had forgiven him. They were truly a toxic match/a relationship built on manipulation and passive acceptance. David Miller didn't dare contact me anymore, but he actually dared to contact Daniel. He portrayed himself as completely wronged, acting as innocent as a manipulative woman who acts innocent, described by actions. Ash is my childhood friend, we grew up together. I'm older than her, and the elders told me to look out for her. But I never had any romantic feelings for her. Otherwise, if we've known each other for so long, wouldn't we have been together already? Not necessarily. Maybe they had feelings but no money? So, not being together would be perfectly normal, right? David Miller, a typical ambitious guy from a humble background. As his childhood friend, Ashley Green's family wasn't particularly well off. Only I could help him climb the social ladder. That must be the truth. That day I was just in a bad mood. And Liv kept messaging me. I forwarded it on impulse. I didn't expect it to go to the family group chat. Later, I also tried to stop the relatives from insulting Liv, but Uncle Charles posted it online behind my back. When I found out, I immediately told him to delete it. But when I got home, I found Liv had left, and I couldn't find her. As for Ash, she's just a little girl who needs love. She's lonely, and if I leave her alone, she'll hurt herself. I couldn't help it. When I was married to Liv, Ash cut her wrists several times at home, and I saved her. It was really dangerous back then, so I've been paying extra attention to her since. I swear, it was just for her life, it wasn't love. And now, a few days ago, Ash got emotional when she heard me apologizing to Liv, and she started cutting herself with a knife again. I tried to stop her, but I accidentally made the cut deeper. She got scared and called the police. When she calmed down, she let me out. Daniel, can you ask Liv to cool down? I'll change in the future. Tell her to come back, let's not get divorced. Daniel, I really only love Liv. After listening to the recording of David Miller that Daniel played for me, I almost threw up. It was truly disgusting. Now he says he forwarded it on impulse? Wasn't it a slip of the hand before? After I left, he finally started lecturing Uncle Charles. What kind of achievement is it to be a bully only at home? A person who usually puts on airs. When he goes crazy, he even insults his elders. When he couldn't find me, he frantically contacted Daniel. He even hired people to investigate my information and track my location. Did he think he was impressive? But later, Daniel took action, reporting him for using company funds to gamble on cryptocurrency and disrupting the cryptocurrency market. He must have been desperate, which is why he was so eager to contact me. Wasn't he just hoping I would save him? After years of marriage, honestly, I had truly loved him once. He initially just wanted to teach me a lesson, but then things spiraled out of control. This time, I left, and he lost his money too. He's probably completely unable to recover now. Daniel, no matter what, get the signed divorce papers. Don't show him any mercy. This time, I was truly determined to let go completely. After traveling abroad and returning home, I studied for the exam for half a year and successfully became a literature teacher at a public school. I had received the divorce papers a long time ago, and all the procedures were completed. The following year, I accepted Ethan White's confession of his feelings. Ethan White had changed a lot. At first, he was gentle and warm, but later he became clingy/overly affectionate. He stuck to me like glue, saying he had wasted a lot of time and hadn't been by my side, and now he needed to make up for it double. I pretended to be annoyed on the surface, but secretly enjoyed it. Seeing that I didn't reject him, he was so happy his tail was practically wagging. One day, David Miller's name appeared on the trending massively. With a mind for catching up on the gossip, I clicked on it and was almost startled by what I saw. It turned out that ever since he signed the divorce papers, he had been depressed and withdrawn. Coupled with financial problems, his esports team soon sued him. At first, he was confident, but later he realized that after losing me, no one was willing to invest in him anymore. So, he finally couldn't help but blame Ashley. Ashley was already emotionally unstable, and with everything that had happened recently, the hand she was using to cut her wrist slipped, causing severe bleeding. David Miller was something else. When he saw Ash was in bad shape, his first thought wasn't to call the police, but to run away. Unfortunately, Daniel Smith's people found out and reported him immediately. Now he's in jail, and given his personality, he's probably not having an easy time in there. 2 years later, Ethan White proposed to me. He bought 9,999 roses and proposed at my favorite singer's concert. It went viral online/trended massively instantly. Wow, I'm so envious. This is what love is. The guy is so handsome, and the girl is so beautiful. They're truly a perfect match. Wishing you happiness and forever. This guy looks familiar, isn't he the owner of a law firm? He really has both looks and brains. The girl's name, isn't she the heiress/daughter of a wealthy family from our city? So lucky. Ethan White stopped doing his cooking and was glued to his phone, his face beaming with laughter. I kicked him gently. Stop that. I'm hungry. Feed me first, then you can laugh, you dummy. Yes, Princess Liv. The happiness I feel now seems like my real life. I've pretty much forgotten everything from before. I only remember that I used to have stomach problems, heart problems, throat problems, problems everywhere. But now, I'm eating like a horse and feeling fantastic. Seeing adorable kids every day makes my heart melt. Maybe I should talk to Ethan White about having a baby soon. After all, he had a crush on me/was secretly in love with me for so long, it's time to give him a reward.